Hello, this is Coach Sherry. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Make Your Job Suck Less podcast. On this podcast, we talk about the challenges and the struggles of navigating in corporate America to your success and to the impact that you're looking to make. Today's topic is the discouragement of interviewing and not landing the job. Especially if you've had a lot of interviews, that's really tough, right? So meet Bonnie, fake name, of course, who's been on many interviews. Bonnie actually doesn't have any issues getting an interview, it seems, which is great. That sounds fantastic, right? Except for Bonnie has been on many interviews and she has yet to land a job. That's incredibly frustrating. It's draining. It's defeating. It can make you want to question yourself. So have you felt like Bonnie? I know I have in the past. So here's some things to think about to how to navigate this particular situation when you're getting interviews, but you just can't seem to land the job. So the first thing is, are you applying for the right level or type of position? So depending on how desperate you are to get a job, sometimes it's real tempting to apply for jobs where your skill set is a slam dunk, right? So you may be actually capable of doing way more, but you're going to go ahead and apply for this job. So then it can be real easy to get interviews because people always want way more for less, right? So of course they're going to want to talk to you because your skill set is awesome. And then yet when you come into the interview, it could be that they're uncomfortable with your level of expertise, especially if the hiring manager maybe doesn't even have your same level of expertise. So that can be an issue. So that would be the first thing that I would ask you is, are you applying for the right level and the right type of position? And so the other thing you can do is look for the nuances in the job description that can give you insight into what they're really looking for. So that can help you too to know if this is the right type of position for you to apply to. Far too often I talk to folks who are in jobs that they thought would be a really great fit, but then they find it's not a good fit for them with the work. Maybe it's too much busy work, or maybe it's too much interaction, but it doesn't work. It doesn't go well with the kind of person that they are and the role that they would like. So make sure you look for the nuances in those job descriptions, because that'll give you great insight into maybe what they're really looking for that's a little bit more subtle in there. The second thing is, does your story, which is AKA your personal branding, does the story that you present about who you are to get the interview, does that match who you really are? For example, if you have a very fact-based resume, but that doesn't paint the picture of who you are, it could be easy for someone to look at your facts on your resume and want to interview you, but then the reality is, personality-wise, maybe there's not a fit. So it's very important when you describe your story that it includes who you are, the fullness of who you are. So if you're good with communication, that should be there. If you're good at bringing people together, that should be there. If you are much more satisfied with detailed work and not as much interaction with people, that should somehow be articulated as well. That's the other thing I help folks with is the story that they present, especially on the resume, on LinkedIn profiles, for example. Does it match who you really are? Because if it doesn't, then what will happen is somebody could be attracted to the one, but then not attracted to the other. So it goes both ways, right? If you don't paint the right story, that could actually keep you from getting interviews, right? Because then nobody even talks to you because they just look at the story on paper on LinkedIn and they're not interested. Or it could go the other way, where they look at the story that you've presented either on LinkedIn or resume, but then when they meet you, it doesn't match up. And so what they were originally attracted to, they no longer see that when they meet the real person. So it's very important that your personal branding or your story is consistent across all the different platforms, including during the interview process as well. And the last point is, every single interview you do, you should reflect on it. And you should look for lessons lessons learned, things that maybe you could refine going forward to the next one. I talk to people and sometimes they tell me, oh no, I'm doing everything I can do. Well, that may be true, but we always have room to learn, right? We always have room to grow. We always have room to make things better. So I would really challenge you to reflect on every interview you do and really look at your own performance, but also look at the other person. Look at the dynamic of the conversation and how did that go? And were you heard in the interview process? Was there an engaging conversation? And so those are the things to look for as well, to make sure that you're connecting with the interviewer, because that's critical. Number one, when you're in an interview, is to connect with that person and not connect with them for who you are, but connect with them for who they are and what they are looking for. And so I would encourage you every interview to have a reflection process and look at those lessons learned. And then that way you're refining your process every single interview and you're getting better and better and better. And even if you think you're really great at it, that's wonderful, but there's still always room for improvement because you're dealing with people, right? And people are different from interview to interview to interview. So there's always something to glean from it that can help you going forward in the types of jobs that you apply for or don't apply for, or the future interviews. In simplest terms, here's the bottom line. You're either a fit for a job or you're not, right? If you're a fit, that's great. Then you should be hired. That should be a slam dunk. But if that doesn't happen, then it's probably that was lost or that was missed in the communication aspects of the interview. And so that's really where the attention needs to be focused. If you really are a fit for something, then that's the point of the interview, is to articulate and to be able to connect and be able to communicate that you are a right fit and hopefully the best fit. And if you don't do that during the interview process, then it can be lost and it can be easily missed. And then you find yourself doing interview after interview after interview. Well, thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate it. This is my passion, helping folks to make the impact in the workplace that they want to make. But in order to make the impact, you have to obviously be employed, and you have to be employed in a situation that gives you the opportunity to make that impact that you want to make. So I also help folks do that as well. Visit the website at makeimpactatwork.com. That's makeimpactatwork.com, and connect with me there. And thank you so much, and see you at the next episode. Bye-bye.